Hockey Nation fans, welcome to the Hockey Nation live show with Coach Frenchy in the booth with Michael Devellano somewhere not in California, somewhere in Texas.
Texas, home of the Texas Stars, Austin, Texas.
Here we go. So it's just still, I'm sure you talk about a lot of hockey over there and during that time because now you're what, Austin?
Yep. In
So
Austin, the AHL, the Dallas Stars farm team, AHL team is here in Austin.
yeah, exactly. I think before we talk about Dallas, we need to talk about um, a difficult robbery, hard
Well, it
for the
was,
Islanders last night. This is that
so
you
bad.
talk about sometime it's not easy in hockey. You know what I mean? Like the momentum shift, everything like that. But I believe this is a killer for Islanders. I don't see how they can come back.
It's going to be real tough. I don't put it past them. Like the Islanders showed what we thought they would show, which is the coach obviously prepared them for a much tighter game after getting blown out 8-2. And you saw they went with Varlamov in the net. It was a tight game, and they were up 1-0, and they played it to the wire. They could pull out a couple more tight games, but I think what Tampa's shown is that they can play it any way you want it. They're
Like
just too good. I mean, they're just so deep.
I watched after that a press conference, and then Barry Trotz for the Islanders coach said, it's like someone hit on my guts. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, man.
it's like we worked 59 minutes in almost 59 minutes in 30 seconds, and then the last 30 seconds we was all over the place, and it's a game really where they cannot lose. So it's not only the the 8.8 second goal from Kucherov, but you think about Alex Killorn got kicked out of at the game at 5:55 at the beginning of
Right.
the game. Then you talk about Brendan Point, where it's something we need to pay more attention the next couple of days.
Yeah,
His
worried about that one.
situation, he get out what middle of second period. I could be wrong, but I believe it's a second period. He was out of the game, and now they are dropped. And then if you don't know, but maybe I'm sure you know, but if the fans maybe you don't know, the listener, Tampa play with seven defensemen, 11 forward.
And now
Since
you're down to 10 or 9.
nine. So, you know what I mean? Like, the chance of Islanders to win, they was right there for them. They have no, you know what I mean? Like, the situation of what's going on at that game number two, and the way they play and everything, they could not drop that game. And that's the way it finished, the end of the game, that was, they can lose an OT at 16 minutes. It
Sure.
is what it is, right? But at 8.8 second, it worked so hard, and to go from a game 8-2 to come back 1-1, it's a tough one. It's really
Yeah, it's definitely, but I think, you move on, you dust off, you go, listen, we played a real good game. We showed the first game was an aberration. You come back and you do it again and you play it tight because that's the only way the Islanders are going to win against this team, I think. And if they win the next game, it's 2-1 and you got a new, ball game. So it sucks, because they played very well. And I think it just was, it's tough, obviously. It's not over yet, obviously. I think if they win the next game, think about this. If it was a home and an away, the first two games would have been in Tampa. And if Tampa won it, they'd be up 2-0. And then they would go home to New York. So obviously we have the X factor of everything being in the same arena, but you just got to look at it like that. It's like, hey, these next two games are home games. And we're gonna play it tight and we're gonna pull out the next win. We're gonna win period by period, shift by shift. And that's the only thing you can do.
yeah. Of course, the way you talk is the right way to talk about it. It's just the way they lose the game, like 8.8 second when they
Yeah,
really
crazy. What a goal too, though.
yes, and also it was a great performance of the Islanders. They played the style of Islanders. I think for
I
me,
agree.
for me, it was maybe the best game since the beginning of the first round. I don't think so. They played that game, maybe one game against the Flyers like that. Otherwise, they struggled the last couple of 5, 6 games. They win a couple of games, but not the play they played yesterday. They play almost like a perfect game for them. The
I mean,
structure, block shot, and the shot on the Gusherov, Varlamov almost saved it. Like he touched his
almost
arm
got
with it
across. Yeah.
and then go up. He didn't. It was not like a straight shot and touch the net. He touched his body before he go top middle.
McDonough passed it to him. I couldn't believe that. Like he was way down there. Of
Yes, it
course,
did
they were
take
like,
another
"Don't go on
chance,
that play." Like,
but
but
at that
they
moment, like
were.
Andy Green was all over the place with Pollock. I believe it was Pollock at the
Yeah,
end. They was struggle a lot on defensive side, and I don't know if you remember who was on the ice on the Islanders, but remember, do you remember who was on the ice?
was Pajot on?
No, we have another one. He was his first game of the playoff.
Oh, I don't know. Who's that?
Andrew Land.
Who?
Andrew Land. Ladd.
Oh, Lad.
Yep.
He was on the ice at the last 5 minutes.
The
Last
last
minute?
30 seconds of the game, he
Why
was
would
on
you
the
do
ice.
that? The guy's been. How is he even playing? I thought he was gonna have to retire.
Because they put him in and they put out Derek Brassard.
What? But he's
And
been. Doesn't he have head injury or something? Wasn't that his thing?
so I don't know.
Man, he
Uh,
didn't play all year. That's a dumb choice.
so they put him in, and he has did not play badly, but at the end, like he honestly, when you watch the game, his speed is like
Yeah,
almost like Shara now at
dude,
43.
he's never been fast.
But
Like he's a big guy, and then you say he's played 4 games all year.
my concern about this me was more about listen, they play 2 round, 7 game, and I think the first one was 5 game or 6 game, right? 5 game, I believe. So they
Yeah.
play 12 games. Prior they played another 3 game against Carolina. I think they won 3-0 or 3-1 maybe. That's maybe 16 game. Or honestly, they played 17 games before yesterday. There was an 18 game yesterday, and it was the first game at Land. So Land did not play for over five
No,
months.
but you think
And
about it too, like he only played 26 games last year,
yeah,
right? So he's played 30 games in 2 seasons. I didn't think he was ever going to play again. So you're throwing him out at a critical moment. I mean, it's a chess match. Like you don't put out a rusty guy who can't skate anyway. Like he's never been a great skater. That's not his game. I
that's the
don't get
one
it. That's
I
kind of
was a
a
little
mistake.
bit concerned about that one over
Yeah,
there.
that's a mistake.
I
Not that
think
it's his fault, but I mean, I think you know what it's like. And when you're in that tight of a situation, you have to make all the right moves right to the end.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it was not exactly. I don't know this choice. Be honest with you, I
Yeah.
don't.
Oh well, we won't harp on it, I guess, but it is a it sounds like a mistake to me.
Yes, I agree with you. I tried to find.
So you know,
He
when I
played
watched it,
12 minutes yesterday.
yeah, and then you throw him out for the last critical shift. Not that it was his fault again, but come on. I think they were out shooting the Lightning at one point that I saw. It was like 26-16, I think.
The shot yesterday was 28 to. I got it here.
21.
21.
Yeah. Yeah, 53 hits to 44 too. I mean, I don't know. You're right. The Islanders played a great game. I thought Barzal was going to get on the board. He was playing real well.
Yes, I think I think one player. I think the four line Islanders show up yesterday. I think Martin was all over Islanders. They was like he scored a goal at the beginning of the first period.
Yep.
Matt Martin, he was his fifth of the playoff. He have a really good playoff. He was really not dominate, but his style
He's
bother
physical.
a lot of players from Tampa yesterday. Like Luke
Yeah.
Chen was all over him and everything like that. One other player got very badly yesterday was Brooke Nelson. He got ram on the board at the beginning of the game at 5:55. I believe it was the penalty for Alex
Hello.
Killern, and then after that. I think it was the second period one. Good. Is it good now? What's the name of
Yeah,
it?
Barkley, Goudreau.
Okay, so he hit. completely Nelson in the back of the head. He hit against the board, the glass with his head.
That guy played 19 minutes.
No call from that penalty. It was really a bad one for the ref. They missed completely that call. The first period, Islanders dominate Tampa, 13 shot versus 4. Was more bad ends the second period, 7-6, and then third it was 8-11 for Tampa. Total of shot last night, 28-21. Power play 0-4 for Islanders and 0-3 for Tampa. That's one my concern from Islanders. If they want to win, they need scoring on the power play. They did not. Face off 56-44. Black shot 15. Islanders 24 for Tampa. And that will give you that when you have more black shots because the other team control more the puck and they are more usually control the game, and that show exactly 24 shot for Tampa. But remember, they have 97 hit yesterday, 53 versus 44 for Islanders. Islanders was all over Tampa, you know what I mean, because without Killern and Point, they took advantage of that. They let play a lot, Martin and return that. And
Well, what's crazy to me is if you look at Barclay Goudreau played 19 minutes and 28 seconds. I mean, that's a guy that's a third line guy normally.
for who?
Goudreau for Tampa played 19 minutes.
Yeah, the reason why is because they played three lines.
That's crazy. And then if you look at the other one that I kind of caught my eye was Eberle, was the top guy on the ice for the Islanders.
Eberle played with, him and Barzil and Enderle played 19 minutes for sure.
He played 20 minutes. He almost played 21 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been that brave. And Pajot at 1650, I'd like to swap those two.
They have they have a good game.
They played well though.
Yeah, I think Clutterbuck played well. The only thing I said, Cizinka also 12 minutes, 10 minutes. I think they should play a bit more them. But again, the four line usually play 12 minutes, 10, 12 minutes. So they respect on that one over there. And then,
I think what you are seeing is what you brought up early on, which is the defense on Tampa are much better. And you see that stand out. And you can see even the last goal, how that factored in with McDonough, like down low. Like they're confident to pinch in because they know the other guy is really good and is going to keep it in the zone. So the support side D, Luke Shen aside, the other 6 guys are real good. I mean, who could throw that 7D out? Like every guy you look at, you go, yeah, that guy's really good. He's playing well. Hedman got 26 minutes despite them playing 7D.
Yeah, Shen played only 8 minutes yesterday, but they play at 5, almost like 1, 2, 3, 4D, and then Pokozian and Cernak. Cernak play. You know what? Yeah, be careful. When we talk about the power play of Islanders 04, remember they have a 5 minute on that one over there.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then on power play on shortened, you have McDonough, Edmund, Senak. They play all over 5 minutes right there.
Yeah.
And then on PK, you have to remember, like you said, good row. Coleman, Cirelli, they play over 4 minutes, 5 minutes on PK. That's another great play for what I mean. That's the helping from that part of there. But and then we did not mention the first half of the game, the goalie for Tampa, Zalivevsky. He had a great game yesterday.
He stole that. I feel like he was outshot early on. Although I will say 13 of the shots against him were on the power play.
Yep. And then
So
I think
it a little bit. 5-on-5, they were pretty even.
I think Tampa was not lucky, but to get out the first period with 1-1, 13 shot versus 4. Victor Edmond, another bomb, his 7th of the year. He's really dominate right now with Kuchera this series. Edmond played amazing the last 5, 6 game.
So good.
He really become the top, the top defenseman in NHL. He's maybe going to win the Norris again this year. This year we'll see.
I
Um,
would think so.
you know what I mean? But I'll be honest with you, Kucherov and Edmonds show up again, and it's just sad. I feel bad for Valamov last night. You know what I mean? Like you can see on face of many players when they left, then when they leave, the eyes how they was
Yeah,
discouraged and frustrated, and
they'll be fine. I bet they could definitely come back and win the next one, and at least they have some hope. I still think this is a 5 or 6 game series, though.
now, before we jump on the news, everything like that, we need to talk a little bit more about, we you talk this way, but what happening now with Brendan Point without him?
That's tough, man. That's their best player. Most of the times I watch them, I'm like, man, this guy's real good. Like every shift.
Do you think, really
Um,
believe they can do this
Without him,
without Senkos and Point and then keep conscious to win?
yeah, yeah. I mean, you'll see guys like Sorelli step up. Yanni Gord can take on more ice. Killorn's a bit of a problem. If you lose Killorn for another game, he's not going to be. I wouldn't think he's long term. Do you think he's going to get a game suspension? Because he's got a hearing, right?
I believe we get one, but I
I think
think,
so.
they talk about. I think the one from Goodrow, it was almost worse.
Yeah. So you think he's going to, but he doesn't have a hearing, does he?
I don't think so. He did not get no penalty, and
Yeah. I think that Killorn is a big part of that team, but they still have so much depth. I mean, unless they lose a Kucherov, if they lose Kucherov on top of those guys, then they got a problem. But they still have a pretty elite player there, and he'll step up. If the Islanders have a chance, it's the next game. If they're missing Point and they're missing Killorn, Point came back to the bench and at one point, right? But they're saying it's an upper body injury?
who?
Braden Point.
It was not. Yeah, it was not mentioned, but I'm pretty sure it was a lower body.
Oh, lower.
Because the way he get up and then he go home. He try, he cannot. I really more. It's more like lower body.
Okay, I thought for some reason I thought they said upper, but well, then that's a problem if it's lower. But I guess we'll see what happens. Let's say he's out, Killorn's out next game. You give the Islanders come back with the same tight game. I don't see an advantage for them, right? Like, and if they open it up, I don't see an advantage for them. I mean,
Yeah,
Tampa's got so many really good D. They've got a great goalie. They still have a lot of firepower up top. Like we still haven't seen the best Anthony Sorelli.
uh,
Yanni
he
Gord's
struggled. To be honest with you, he
struggle.
struggled
I
a
was
lot.
shocked how bad he struggled, but he's the type of guy that can if you put pressure on him and you give him responsibility, he responds. Like that's the type of guy he is. Like so if he's not being counted on, it's sometimes he'll blend in, right? But I think he's got more in the tank. Palat's still going to contribute. Kucherov's still real good. I think he moved Gord up, and he can play any forward position. I don't know if there's anybody that hasn't come back into the lineup that's special, but
No,
again, every time I look at Barclay Goodrow, it's another one of those San Jose guys like that's playing important minutes in a contributory role, and just
it's
I don't know.
amazing sometimes what Temple get players left and right, and they sign up for what, $1 million, Shattenkirk,
Yeah,
one
right,
point two,
crazy.
something like
Was
that.
was he getting paid out? He got paid out by someone else, right? And then
By the Rangers, I believe.
McDonough. I mean, you got two guys there that were ex-Rangers. They're playing real well.
You know what I mean? So then you have Bukosian from the Jets. Um,
Bogosian's been real good, man. He's a tough player to play against.
yep,
Like playing one-on-one,
was
he
for
can
Buffalo.
skate and he's thick.
Yep, I agree with you about that one over there.
Imagine if
Um,
you drafted him ahead of Alex Pietrangelo, though.
I know. Let's move
Good
on for
overall.
the news before we talk about the game tonight. News one. Let's move on with that one over there. And the Jack Adams Award winner this year is
Bruce Cassidy.
from the Boston Bruins in front of Alain Vigneault. I don't know about that one. The only reason why they
Really?
got to, I believe he got this because he won this. He was Boston was the
Part.
President Trophy, but I think Alivino should get that one.
Um, yeah.
You know what
I
I mean? With
mean,
the with what who said the Philadelphia would play the level they play? Who said
for
the
sure.
first? You know what I mean? They have over like 20 point more from last year before. I think he run that team very well.
He did, but he has two other NHL head coaches on his assistant coaches. That's the most stacked bench in the NHL. He's got Mike Yeo and he's got Terrian. Um, and for all of that, like brain power, when they went head to head with the Islanders, he was severely outcoached.
But again, you know, you should not when you win the trophy like this, they don't consider the playoffs
I
this
get it, but I
season. I
think he
just said like
exposed like how good he is or isn't.
again, not said Cassidy don't deserve it. I just thought for
I
the
I,
team
I think
wise,
Cassidy did a
talent
good
wise,
job.
everything like that, I think the Flowers he bring the Flowers a little bit higher level, like compared to Boston, honestly.
I th- I think what
But
I like about the Cassidy one, like yes, they're a good team. Here's a guy that was in Washington at a odd time, was ground out of the NHL, and I never thought he would get back in. He was an assistant coach, right, to Julian, is that right? And then he was
yep,
put as interim,
yep,
and then here he is. He's the coach of the year. So I love the story. I think he's a good coach that has a little bit of redemption there. I'm happy for him. I thought he did a real good job. He's real good with the media.
yeah,
I,
yeah,
but overall, I mean, they finished first for a reason. But
yeah.
I think you see, like, they didn't have a smooth path all year. They had some problems, but they were still real good. I mean, young
Of
guys
course.
have developed under him, so I think those are all good things.
Yep. Let's move on to Dallas
But my books,
Star.
Barry Trotz is still the coach of the year always.
I know, right? Uh,
When you watch how good he is, I mean, this is crazy. What's that?
yes, he
Oh, that's so
you know,
weird. NHL, why are you auto playing videos
he
on
does
Twitter?
like you know he's always take an average team and bring them the higher level. You know, I mean
That's
he's always in take. I don't know, motivate all these players. The team you always get better with him
yeah,
behind the bench
I
for
agree.
you know. So look like his recipes works very well on his meal for sure. Let's move on with Dallas Star, goaltender Ben Bishop, and the defenseman Taylor Fitton. Both practiced with the team yesterday. They are back on the ice. It was the first time they was back on the ice for last couple of days. So we'll see. I want to ask you this question: do you know what is the bonus overage? Can be 100% in 2021 and 50% over 2 years.
The bonus overage?
Overage, not average. Overage.
So I'm not sure I understand the question.
So they talk about a bonus overage. I don't know. I first time I see this me
Yeah,
myself.
I don't know what that is. Like, are you
Bonus.
saying what the players can make as a bonus?
Yeah, exactly. It's a performance bonus average. Yeah, exactly.
No, I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, so it's a you know the it's a list. It's a performance bonus of the players. Everything like that
Yeah.
they get. You know.
And they're saying what the average bonus is?
Yeah, the problem with that is um, you can cut on the salary cap and then
Right.
you pay you pay a tax or something like that. Does it make sense?
Really? I
Yeah.
don't know. I think the NHL is a hard salary cap. You can't go over. So what happens
No, but
is,
with the bonus they go over, and because of that part of that, now they get fine, and the team can
really?
be 2 years to get 50% over 2 years or 100% about 1 year. So the Boston Bruins we have a bonus average of 1.94 because DeBrusque got 394K on bonus on time on ice and a pro rate 20 goals. Then you have Shara 1.5 millions because he got 10 games playing the playoff. Jeremy Lauzon 25 games pass game per game he play. Also same thing with Connor Clifton got 20,000. The Buffalo Sabre we have a bonus of 1.22 at 27 millions. Henrik Henry Joaquin Arger 425K he got because he got a contract for minus and plus and time on ice. Same thing with Ramos Dadden, got 850K
Good.
for assist, point, power play, goal, and time on
Right.
ice.
He's still underpaid. So my understanding of just reading this is that the bonus carries over to the net count against the next year's salary cap. So it's
Yeah,
not like a wealth tax. So some leagues like baseball, it's like, hey, if you go over, you pay 50% wealth tax.
yeah,
So that salary that's $1 million extra is actually 1.5, for example.
yeah.
But in the NHL, they have a hard cap, so you cannot go over the salary cap. But what they do is that what you're saying, if the bonus kicks in, it counts towards next year's salary cap. So that's less salary they can pay somebody.
Exactly. So they
Yeah,
count
that's a
on the
problem.
salary cap. Now, each team have a choice to apply the 100% of the year or 50 for the next 2 years.
Interesting.
And then
Yeah,
the last one, Vancouver Canucks got 1.7 millions because each one of them, Peterson and Hughes, got a bonus of 850K because of the contract. So they got 1.7 more on the salary cap for the following year, or they
how do you
can.
feel if you're Detroit and you're San Jose? You have to pay bonus overages.
Yeah, that's the thing about that one over there.
Yeah.
Um, they talk about a little bit about the situation with um, Vancouver. They still negotiate, figure out with Max Strom. It's 50-50 now. Max Strom is, you know, they are thinking about this. He's looking about $6 million per year.
Yeah, I mean that seems normal. I mean that
Right
seems
now,
cheap.
Tamco is on contract for 1.05 for one more year.
Yeah, tough to know what to do. I mean, I think you sign Markstrom, but
Now, do you let him go and sign up, back up Brand Elliott or Ken Dalbot, and you give the net to Danko, and then you save a lot of money on the
it's
salary cap and
it's
give a
interesting you
chance.
say that. So the agent for Talbot is the same agent, I believe, or agency as Demko, and they've had a history because they also had Bachman. So they've had other goalies in Vancouver. I don't know how much of that'll play into it. So it's a thought. I don't know. I feel like you keep going. I mean, that team's got a real good shot at taking a run at the cup, I think, with the very minimal moves. I think you don't I think you take a big risk by not re-signing Markstrom. I would personally re-sign him. I mean, you've got restricted status, I think, with Demko, one more contract, right?
Yeah, the only problem you get now is like he's going to
Expansion,
maybe um,
expansion draft.
yes
Well,
for
the problem there is, do you sign him and he has a no trade clause? Then that's tough. I don't know.
yeah.
Then you really have to make some tough choices, right? I could see a lot of guys. I don't know. It's gonna be tough. He'd
Then
be one of them.
yeah, you know exactly what's going on after an elimination. The press conference with the coach and the GM. Yesterday was the Boston Bruins did it, and they talk about the future about Shara. They would like him to come back. He's maybe willing to come back for one more year at $2 million max. And
Dang, that's a
then they are
deal.
not sure anymore about Tony Crook.
He's not
Sweeney
coming back.
Sweeney said we would love to have him. We hope he will come, but at some point we have to respect what we are, their salary cap, everything like that. So we'll see. That's a big subject
That
there.
that would be a big loss for them. Tyson Berry is a very similar D that's out there. I mean, I could see him getting less than Krug. Maybe he gets 5-6 mil, and Boston flips it around, and uses that to get a guy like him. They go, thanks, bye. they have they have depth, so they're not going to die. But
But
uh,
because the problem on that side, they are not really dead. They are dead on the other side with McEnroy and not Cato, not Cano. No, this is the big guy, defenseman, 25.
Carlo, Brandon Carlo
Yeah, Carlo. So they are on that side. They are pretty solid D on the side.
on the right side.
Yeah, on the left now they
Yeah,
have only Tony Crook and Shara, where you said, okay, Shara can play 20 minutes, 90 minutes, but
no, I don't think
you
so.
know, I mean, he's not a top pair line
Yeah,
anymore
he's like
like he
five
was
six.
before.
Yeah.
So
Um, I don't know. That's a tough call. What is he asking? 8 million?
Tony Crook is about right now. I have a
Like
list here
discount?
because I did my research yesterday. Is about 7.5 million to 8.5. They're looking,
Pay him. I don't know. How
and I
long?
think he's not
It
going to
just
sign.
depends on
I'll be
terms.
honest with you. He's not going to sign up until Pietrangelo get a salary.
Oh man. Um,
Because
think
President Pietrangelo will sign, it will guide
it'll set the market. Yeah,
set
for
up
sure.
exactly.
Yeah, I agree
So
with
that would be
that. I
something.
think Peter Angelo is like gonna get a lot of money if he leaves St. Louis.
Yes. So what still happen there? One, honestly, is another subject to watch and to see. Uh,
What do you think? Okay, so here's the one that I'm trying to figure out. What do you think Taylor Hall gets? Because he's on a old, like he was on a long-term $6 million contract,
yeah.
and
So
he just wants to win, obviously, which is more important to him at this point.
so
Get
right
rid.
now he's a top forward on the UFA.
I think
Right.
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So
Sure.
after him is only Dadanov.
Oh, yes.
So, if I checked the list yesterday, I have all the 20 UFA, five goalies, then between defensemen and forward are not there at all. You have Dadanov, Granlund,
Toffoli.
Greg Smith, Hoffman, Toffoli, Ennis, Suttenberg. That's it.
It's rough.
It's very hard to get and now you have all the defensemen. Check this: Pridangelo, Crook, Barry, Shattenkirk, Brody,
Van,
Vatanen, and
Van, yeah.
Gustafson. Goalie: Grafford, Maxstrom, Lerner, Kudobin, and Olby.
Wow, Kudobin too.
So the two goalies right now in the final conference are UFA at the end of the month. At the end of it.
Leonard
So
and Leonard and Kudobin.
someone's going to get the money there.
Big time.
You know what I mean? But I don't think so. I don't believe Coupe d'Aubin is number one. I believe it's a big money on.
No, I think Kudobin's great in a 1A, 1B situation.
Yes, this is a great call from you. I like that. It's more like not like a number one, number two. It's
Yeah.
more 1A and 1B. Um,
So what about Vancouver?
oh my God, I was going to say that. You let go Mike Strom, right? You can Bamco and you get Coupe d'Aubin,
Saves a
right?
bunch of
You can
money.
give him about $4 million.
And you sign Peter Angelo.
No, he's not going to go there.
Why? Why would he not go there?
No, he's not going to get
I think
there.
anybody would want to go there or the Rangers right now. But I think the bet good money's him staying. If he goes anywhere, it's I think legitimately Toronto is going to be a place you would think about.
Mark Storm?
No, Peter Angelo,
Yeah.
Markstrom. Markstrom. I don't know where Markstrom would. The best fit for Markstrom is Vancouver. Um, I
I'm going to surprise you.
I would love for Detroit to sign him.
Yeah. No, he's not going there because the
I know
team is
that
not good enough,
nobody's
right?
going there right now.
No, but 30 years old, right? You're not going to go
He's
there.
not going there.
No. Any other place you're thinking?
Nashville. So you're
That's the
thinking,
one.
yeah, like Nashville's really up in the air. I think that would be such a good fit for him.
The price is Rene at 7 million, and then Saros. But I
Bye.
think Rene should tell him like, look, it's over. I don't know his contract, how many years he has, but I think he should let go Saros to the Seattle, and then pick it up. Max Strom over there. I
I
think
think I
Max Strom
think
is a really good fit over there, or Carolina.
Carolina's like a no-brainer. Like if they get Markstrom, how good is that team?
They need a goalie.
If they get Markstrom,
If they
that's like
have
the
a great
last piece.
goalie, we're talking about a goalie where it's consistency, play
Yeah,
50 games, 60 game. And because the situation in Carolina is up and down,
It's a
and
yo-yo.
so that'll be something to watch for a
Carolina
couple of
would be
days. We're
big.
going to talk more about that situation over there. I can see what's going on with Brendan Holby. By the way, another rumor. It's almost confirmed. It's the end of the king for the Rangers. Henrik Lundqvist. It's over. It's going to team is going to let go, or maybe it'll be over. They try to give the Georgiev, is it
Yeah,
Georgiev?
Georgiev, yeah.
Yeah, and then the other guy,
The
Miskilin or
Russian kids, they're both good goalies, but the Russian kid is really exciting.
yes,
How many Russian goalies do we say that about? There's so many good Russian goalies now.
Samsonov,
Well, look at the kid coming up, Askarov. That's
Mes
why I keep
Meskinen,
it's like, come on, even Kudobin.
Kubudin, like
There's like a guy that's
in the
like
old one, but still, you know what I mean. You can go with a
yeah,
goalie from Tampa.
so many good. Oh, Vasilevsky's like
You can go with Panthers.
Bob is a little weird right now, but yeah, overall he's
Yeah, but
he's been
bad
one of the
year,
best
but
goalies the last 10
overall,
years. Like
Russia produced a lot of great goalies a couple of years now.
Russia's great goalies.
Like a little bit like Finland does with forward, and then Sweden with defensemen. But
Is it all
yeah,
because of Trechak?
let's laugh. Trichak. Let's move on with the last part of the show with the game of tonight. Game number three between Vegas now versus Dallas, because now honestly game number three is that Dallas has become their home game. 8 p.m. on Eastern Time on NBCCN and of course CBC and TVA Sport in Montreal. What's your prediction on that one over there between Vegas and Dallas?
I don't know what to do with Dallas. Um, I think Vegas is going to win again. It might be like 3-2, 3-1, but if they get into a firefight, then I think Dallas it turns to Dallas's favor. But
I'll be honest with you. Right now, we have two teams where
right,
they don't score. Right, they have a difficult time to score for any reason. You can tell the defensive, the goalies, everything like that. But they have two teams right now, and also they have to think they can score 5, 6 goals at any moment. You talk about the 6 and 7 most goal for during the playoff, and one surprised me. It's Vegas, our number two on the goal against with 2.12 per games versus
really,
Dallas are at 3.28. They are 17 on the 24 teams. Um,
3.28 goals
yeah,
against or for?
against for Vegas.
Wait, is Dallas 3.2 against?
Dallas 3.28
How are you even in the playoffs?
because Colorado they play like they give about 30 goals against Colorado.
Oh my God, yeah, there were some crazy games in there.
And then remember the game for Calgary.
It's huge, yeah.
You know what
But
I
when
mean?
you look at
So
it,
and that number dropped for the last two games. They gave 3 goals. Um, you know, the last two games versus Vegas. So that's helping them. But again, where I thought that series going to be, that I thought that series going to be a little bit more higher scoring, and you know what I mean, more like 5-4, 4-3, or 6-3, and right now they play very well defensively, and they. I don't say they are the same, but they are the built almost the same kind of team, to
very
same way.
fast depth, but they don't give you a lot of space. So
Physical,
they're not
big.
they're not slow. Like if you look at the way Islanders shut you down is they use structure and they pressure you, they keep on the right side of the puck all the time. These teams aren't worried about that. They're gonna just push you to the wall. And once you whether you have the puck or not, there's a man on you. And they
Yeah,
use their speed and size. So they're very similar.
I agree with you about that one over there. I think they are like they are very too strong team, too physical. I think you talk about the speed.
And the
You're right.
speed.
You talk about Rezulov. You know what I mean? Their defensemen are built that way with Klenberg and Eskinen, and then on the flip side you have Theodore and Schmidt over there. two great goalie right now, Lerner and Kudobin do very well, and their forward is pretty good, solid. So they're two almost the same team together, and then that might surprise. Just like I thought, it's going to be like a bigger number, a more goal per game. Um, but you could say right. I think you a game 3-2, 3-1
It may be
tonight could
close.
be another game like that.
I
So
I mean, there's always risk that a game with those two teams can break out. I think more on the Dallas side.
yep.
They see, we're seeing they have firepower that we didn't really understand before. But I gotta think it's gonna be close. I mean, I'm assuming Leonard's back in against Kudobin.
Yeah,
I
I
guess
go
we'll
with Vegas
see.
again tonight, but I
Yeah,
think tonight they will go. I would not be surprised 3-1 or 4-1.
yeah. I was kind of thinking 3-1 maybe or 3-2, but I think it's gonna be Dallas is not gonna have two games in a row where they don't score.
But again, every time we
No,
talk
right?
about
Maybe
Dallas,
nine
we
nothing.
every time we talk about Dallas, the next day we look at each other and say, "Oh my God,
What the hell?
yeah, the hell, yep." So we'll see about that one over there, and I'm excited about this. Anything to add? We don't have anything else over the fact like we go around the league, and that's pretty much what we have so far
So I
for the
think
day.
did you see the Hart Trophy finalists?
The
And then
Hart Trophy,
they're going to announce the Selkie tonight.
the Selkie tonight. Usually go to Bergeron, but I don't think so. Bergeron is going to get it this year.
Who's up for it?
On
Bergeron,
the
Couturier, and O'Reilly. I pick O'Reilly because I'm biased.
uh, you know what? I'll be surprised to tell you that, but I think Couturier have maybe a one step over.
Over O'Reilly?
Yep. This year, I don't say overall. The
Maybe.
last couple of years, O'Reilly was better, but I think this year Couturier. Now, I don't think so. That the playoff make a big difference. Who was with them also?
Bergeron, Couturier, and O'Reilly. They all, I mean, they're all worthy candidates.
Yeah, I don't say you're right or wrong with that part of them. Um,
Those are all pretty good choice. It's tough to pick between them.
yep.
And then who's up for Hart?
You should be
Oh,
McKinnon.
McKinnon, Panarin, and Drysaitel. I think Drysaitel. But then again, McKinnon. I mean, I don't know how you decide between those guys. Like the turnaround in Edmonton was pretty dramatic. I
I'll
think
be
that's a
honest
lot.
with you. Honestly, for what McKinnon did in playoff, everything like that,
He's the best. Like
I
he's so
think
good.
I would give to McKinnon this year. He bring Colorado to higher level more. You
I
know,
think you're right.
I think Edmonton got carry on more with both of them, not only one. And then you can tell me Rantanen and Lestergaard, but McKinnon controlled that line completely by
For
himself.
sure. But McDavid was hurt for a while, right?
Yeah, he got missed a couple of games, and then Dressel that was there too. But I don't know. I think that you talk about
I don't like
MVP.
I like both of those. I don't
Yes.
care, but
Yep.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Drysaitel, but McKinnon for me is still man. He
Yep.
might be one of the top play. He might be the top player in the game, but that's hard. Both of those guys could vie for top player along with McDavid right now.
Can see. I can wait to starting or talking about each team the next couple of weeks, a
Oh
couple
my
of
god,
days.
yeah.
You know what I mean? We're going to go through that one over there. We're going to be set up better and then be ready. If you are a fan of Hockey Nation, don't hesitate to subscribe to our two location. Where you can find most us is on Facebook page on the Hockey Nation Live and also on YouTube channel on Hockey Nation Live show. And
I
don't
wanted to mention
hesitate.
one thing. You know what I forgot about? I wanted to mention one thing to you. Have you seen the YouTube channel Culturama?
This is the one with NHL now.
It's a guy actually in Seattle area called Joe Branco, and I didn't connect the dots on Joe with Culturama, but we should talk to Joe and have him on because he's done really well with his YouTube channel. He's got some really cool videos.
That's awesome. Yeah, of course we should have him invite. And then any Hockey Nation fans, don't hesitate. Send direct message, leave your comments, whatever is the it's live or it's recording. We're always looking there. We always check if you have any comments there. Any if you have fans right now, Tampa, I'm sure you're very happy this morning. in Vegas tonight, and Dallas will be very something. But we are coming with 31 formation teams talking about their situation with salary cap, your RFA, your UFA, and then Michael will bring more also about their prospect and what's going on with AHL, what they are playing junior, everything like that. And I don't know why I talked about this. I want to confirm now the QM start October 2nd.
Yeah, I talked to
Um,
our team yesterday, and we still don't know what's going on.
yeah,
So
uh,
we're trying to get a schedule. We think we're going to be 2 months behind them.
yeah,
Quebec team's got money from the government to play,
yes.
which like that's pretty awesome. So they're getting subsidized, but man, we're a gate-driven league, and nobody's going to bail out the Everett Silvertips. The government's not going to be giving us any cash.
I
So we
believe
go,
I believe your league's going to have maybe one division USA because it's too
we are
much.
we are for sure. We're going to play the other U.S. teams, and then even the biggest problem is the Memorial Cup because I think what they're talking about. I don't know this for sure, but this is what I was. We kind of talked about one of the options, which is you may have a U.S. Cup.
It's
So it'll be like
possible, but that moment
Saginaw,
we talk about
Erie.
May and June, so it's far a little bit. Maybe something could happen before that. I believe it will be harder for any Canadian and American during the winter. I
We're not.
think we still a couple of months before they change the rules over there. But at the end of the day, you know,
I
so
think what also could happen in the OHL is I mean, if Saginaw plays at all, they may not play in Saginaw. Or
I
like
don't think so too. I think they will
Erie,
move
Clinton,
up over
Saginaw
there.
might be smart because there's so many arenas in Ontario. Like, I could see realistically all three of them going and picking one arena and playing out of that arena.
It could happen.
Most of the
Um,
players are Canadian, so
Cornwall, Thunder Bay.
absolutely, right?
You know,
Totally. Even in Toronto, because in Toronto, you've got, the Brampton Powerade Center. So you could just put all three teams in there because they had an OHL team in there that moved to North Bay. So, anyways, we both got to jump, but it's an interesting discussion.
we'll see. Yep. Thank you
All
so
right.
much, Michael, for
Thanks.
another great show today. Hockey Nation fan, thanks to be here with us today. And remember, Dallas versus Vegas tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Have an amazing, great Thursday. Have a good one, Michael.
Thanks, you too.